So I was watching this TikTok video while scrolling through TikTok, and I landed on this video where this girl, her caption stated basically, "I'm so glad I finally moved to Vietnam and finally got out of that horrible work culture in Korea and blah blah blah." Like, so I can't believe I spent so much time there. Blah blah blah. Don't remember exactly what she was saying, but basically, yeah, she was saying how she wanted to get out of there. This isn't the word for word, but in layman's terms. And then in her description, she was like, "People need to stop romanticizing the propaganda that they sell in Korea and blah blah blah." So, and this isn't the first time that I've seen something like this. I've seen these incidents of people sharing these thoughts and experiences several times, and it just reminded me of like some coworkers and other friends and acquaintances that I've hung around with, and how no matter how good things seem, they always seem to have something to kind of complain about, and they always blame it on their surrounding instead of taking the responsibility of their own. Now, I'm not saying that this specific person in the TikTok video that I was watching, I'm not saying that she didn't have a bad time with her co-workers or her work environment, because I do believe that it can be true that she did have a very bad work environment and work culture in her specific job. Well, what I'm trying to say is that sometimes it isn't always the fault of the environment itself that's giving you a hard time, but maybe just the way that you're looking at life. So I'm gonna give an example. I mentioned that I did a drama thing for my school, for my elementary kids, like my last year in teaching in Korea. And there was this incident where we needed to have this fabric to be the river for the chocolate river in the show that we were doing of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Now, the problem was that the fabric was too thick. We had enough fabric, but the fabric was too thick, and so we needed to cut it and then like sew it together to make it long enough. I don't remember the exact conversations that were going on, but basically we were having a kind of like debate between the Korean teachers and the NETs about how we should properly do it. Some of the people were arguing that we can just cut it ourselves and then we can just glue it or tape it together. Others were arguing like we can just take it to one of the like sewing companies. Like, I don't know, really companies, like sewing, like one of the businesses that does like laundry and stuff. They do like sewing and stuff too as well, and they can just do it for us with a small fee. And so we were arguing between that. The Koreans ended up deciding that they'll just take it to the laundry machine and have one of the people there sew it and fix it. And I don't know why. For whatever reason, this coworker was very upset about just not doing it right away, because I don't know. I don't exactly remember why he was upset, but he was very upset about it. And then, to top it off, he then outbursted like, "Okay, then, well, when are we gonna do this? Let me know so that I can know when we're gonna get this done." I'm like, I mean, we didn't need it that quickly. We still had like 2 months left, like maybe a month left before we actually had to do the show. And it's just so upset about a piece of fabric, right? This coworker, for whatever reason, no matter how great the day is, whenever I had a conversation with him, always had something to complain about. Something about like the work culture or Koreans. It's always complaining about, why don't the Koreans do it like this? Why don't they just do it like that? Why don't the Koreans do that? Why are the Koreans this way? Why are the Koreans that? I can't believe that in Korea I can't do this. I can't believe that in Korea they just can't do it like this. I can't believe in Korea that blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, I don't want to talk to you. And one day I was expressing my kind of frustration in terms of just conversing with him, not necessarily trying to say that I didn't like him. I mean, I was frustrated with this person, but anyways, I was just expressing my frustration with him, that like I just don't get like why he's always complaining about everything. Like why does these things always like bother him? And then the feedback that I got from my coworker was like, well, not everyone is like a happy-go-lucky guy like you. And I was just like, you know, I can understand that to a certain degree, but also at the same time, it's like he's letting it bother him. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't always this like quote unquote happy go lucky guy who was like cool with everything. Like I had to practice how to not let everything bother me and not let everything take everything personally. I'm just gonna wait until this guy is out because I don't want his revving engine in my video. Okay, so I guess the point I'm trying to make is that yes, I do believe that your environment your environment does play a role in how your overall well-being is, like how you can operate in your environment. But also at the same time, your environment is not the full, shouldn't be the full blame of, let's say, all your negativities in life. Because there have been so many times, and like that coworker wasn't the only example. There are so many times where I've experienced other expats, other teachers, other uh, foreigners who come to Korea or go anywhere abroad that I visited, um, and they just complain about how this place is not as good as this place, or why is this place doing it this way, or why can't, like, I can't be happy here because of the way that they do things here, or I can't be happy here because it's just not as good as it was back home, or whatever. And these complaints are always just complaints that I know for a fact that these type of people will always have this complaint no matter where they go. Like they will always complain about, like, for example, money. Like, oh, in Korea I only make this much money. If I was in America, I'd be making 3 times the money here and I could still be moving up. But also at the same time, I know for a fact that if they were working in America, they still be complaining about money. They'd be like, oh, I should be making more than this. Why is everything so expensive? I can barely afford my rent. Like I should be moving to X state instead. They'd be paying me way more. The cost of living would be way less. Well, it's just like at some point, right? We have to stop blaming our surroundings for things that we don't like in life. I'm not gonna deny the fact that yes, your environment can, like for example, Korean work culture can be pretty tough, especially if you're not like a teacher, or especially if you're a Hagwon teacher. I know that they can overwork you and not pay you, and they don't have things that kind of protect you as well in comparison to, like, let's say, America. But I know for a fact that if a boss or coworkers, wherever they may be, whatever culture they may be, if they really wanted to make your life a living hell, it doesn't matter what country you're in, it doesn't matter where you are, they're gonna make it a living hell. Because it goes back to this old saying that, like, the grass is always greener on the other side. Stop considering that the other side is better, that you need to be going somewhere else for you to have a better life. In some cases, maybe your environment is kind of good, and you just need to tweak certain aspects of it. Like there's this quote that says, like, being a pessimist kind of sucks, not only because all that negative energy that you're kind of always having, but when the thing that you are worried about goes wrong and you're being a pessimist about it, that means you're receiving the negativity twice. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. This was more kind of a rant. I'm almost at my destination, so I don't know if this video will be any good. I don't even know if it's gonna be very informational. I was just kind of ranting. Maybe I'm talking to myself too at the same time, because sometimes I'm like, bro, I'm so sad I'm in America and I want to be back in Korea so bad and blah blah blah. But then also at the same time, maybe I'm sad because I watered my grass in Korea, and my grass is pretty green in Korea. But now that I'm back in America, I gotta start watering my grass again, and I don't know. Just gonna try my best to not be a pessimist. Although sometimes being a pessimist can be good too. It kind of keeps you keeps you away from danger sometimes. Anyways, I hope that this video was okay. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Until next time, peace out.